I've been watching quite a few movies lately and some horror flicks because I I've read a lot of horror and unfortunately I like it sometimes, and I think it's kind of funny how many movies um have been just copies of the Saw movies with Jigsaw. I mean, it's like a bunch of people in a room and there's like a electronic voice, like you have 5 minutes or you have 24 hours to discover blah blah blah. And it's usually like a well, in the Saw movies, I guess he had cancer and they all were either suicidal or self-destructive like a drug addict. So I guess he was punishing them for, not wanting to live or something. Um, and then like but in like this one, there was this one HP Lovecraft story, like that's a classic. He's a classic writer, was a classic writer. Remake called The Tomb, and it's sort of the same kind of story. This guy's like just wants revenge on these people, and they remember who he is. And one of them is like a banker who doesn't give him a loan, and one of them is a stole his girlfriend. And this one woman, the survivor, is she, when she was like 8 years old, they were playing, and she had a friend uh put him in a coffin and nailed it shut, and then they but he didn't, then he cried out and someone found him. But anyway, and then the other guy, he's like the next to the last person to survive, says, don't you think he's overreacting a bit, so that was kind of funny. That made me laugh. But I saw this movie called I Can See You, and it's really stupid because it's like I can't stand these movies with these psychedelic images, and then it just shows gross stuff for no good reason, and there's like no story, and I just can't stand that. That was really bad. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting how these stories, well, it's like they're not really very well written, some of them. It's just like, I don't know. So but it's hard to find good movies these days, I guess. So anyway, but I like I've read a lot of Stephen King, and I often like the books better, better than the movies. Pet Sematary was a really good book. I read it on Talking Book, and Cujo was a really good book. Some of these movies don't really do justice to the books. But it's interesting how, Pet Sematary in a way is really taken from the monkey's paw, because the guy is wants to bring his son back to life, and in the monkey's paw it's the same story really. The original story by W. Jacobs. So that's all I have to say today.